spawning here in the bottom right. In game number 1, we do have the blue Protoss, Showtime. And hey, it's an in-country match, if you will, because I just realized it's Germany versus Germany to the top left. Although honorably Canadian now, it is the German player, TLO. Who got into the crash? Oh, my friend Kara, the one who did all the cosplay stuff I was talking about earlier. Yeah, I didn't hear from her yesterday, but I was also very busy, so I didn't think anything of it. But apparently she got hit on the passenger side. It was scary and all that. But she's okay. I mean, she's streaming, so, you know, it's just one of those things where life sucks, but I'm glad she's okay. Anyways, a couple things to say about this. Oh, well, Nubius asks, are there no more Momentum Cups? For now, they're on pause. The momentum started falling off, if you will. We really struggled to fund the last few cups for each region, so we're putting a full pause on the Momentum Cups for a little while. We've got this tournament, the DFY Star League, which, by the way, check them out, guys. This is season 1. They want to do multiple seasons. We have the combination of like the Ting Open / BTSL season 3, which, hey, by the way, check out our channel sponsors, Ting. I know we're casting the DFY Star League, and I'm all about advertising them. But without Ting, I wouldn't be able to afford to stream every day that I do. So be sure to check out Ting, guys, in the info section down below, if you're in the United States. But anyways, the DFY Star League, we got the Ting Open season 3, or BTSL season 3, whatever. We have a lot of big tournaments coming up. So there's actually just no room to do Momentum Cups, but those will return in the future at some point. They were a really fun project. They far exceeded our expectations for success. So even though, you know, it was a little bit lame come close to the end, we do have a lot of other big things coming, which would be a lot of fun. Not to mention, of course, if you've tuned into the last few off nights, we've done a lot of Beast of the Hills. We've had some, you know, anybody can join games. In fact, I think, Newbies, didn't you win one of the skins from the last free-for-all thing we did? So yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up. My best suggestion to anybody watching, and again, I'm not doing this because I'm trying to build our following. I couldn't care less if you follow me on Twitter or not. But the thing is, we post all of our information publicly on Twitter, so twitter.com/BaseTradeTV. We have all of our information available on Discord at all times too. That's discord.gg/BaseTradeTV. If you guys want to find out what's going on, if you need updates on what's going on, Twitter and Discord are the first and foremost places you should check because they're the most places I'm regularly updating what's going on. You don't have to join the conversation. You don't ever have to reply to tweets or retweet, anything like that. It's just good to know as a resource where these announcements come from. Like this tournament was talked about on Twitter and Discord well before it was made public. Also, I guess, I'm not sure if that giveaway thing got fixed or not. Did anyone ever get any updates on that? Because I didn't see anyone really reply on it. Just saw, I think it was Dares mentioned that it wasn't working for him. Anyways, getting back to the game though, TLO's actually taking a bit of a funny third base here. It's a little bit more out there and a little more exposed, and it doesn't have the safety, quote unquote, of the back mineral patches. But like this base is typically the safer base. A really big advantage to taking this one out here is you'll get creep spread going faster. You can expand with a little bit more map control, but it is. Oh, excuse me. Is that a hiccup? Nothing. No, okay, it doesn't want to come out. It is a little bit more exposed. Is the giant downside to it, placing it out there. That was a weird feeling. It was like I was about to hiccup but couldn't. Ugh, sorry. Anyways, more drones on the way, and TLO's income will do, I'm sure, very nicely. My question for you who are watching us live on Twitch, who are you favoring in this one? I'm really torn because I think by default I say Showtime, but TLO's been putting on really good games. He won the show match we had him on for the other night. I feel like his series was pretty good earlier today too. I'm saying my brain says Showtime, but my heart says TLO, if that makes sense. So I'm really curious what you guys are thinking about in the chat. See a couple of people voting for Showtime. Where's the TLO supporters? Where's the whiff at when you need her, right? We got to rally the TLO troops, man. Oh, and of course, that reminder that if you are watching this live, TLO is also live streaming his point of view of the matches on his channel, twitch.tv/liquidtlo, if you guys want to watch the player point of view on this. Gotta vote for my Protoss boy. There you go. This is the TLO hype train. I like the Dario train, by the way. It's so appropriate for him. But anyways, third base set up where it is. Let's give you that creep spread moving out really quick. Showtime hits the main base with this Phoenix combo. It's really annoying. You know, you lift up one of the queens, spore crawlers, and such, try to push off what's left. This still gets 3 drones, but it does push this off. And even with 3 oracles, I don't know there's a lot of staying power here for Showtime. 3 oracles are probably way better set just casting revelations and stasis wards throughout the rest of the game than going in and killing like 2 more drones and possibly losing one of those oracles. Clearing up the Overlord works out pretty nice too. You know, this is something I saw Showtime doing this earlier, and I'm really curious. I would love to ask him about this because it's very clear that this is on purpose and not an accident. But he double hallucinate scouts. Now, my thoughts are, if you just do 1 and you're worried that it'll be killed too easily, thus won't get enough information, makes sense. And I kind of think that's what he does. Because look at that. If it was 1 hallucination, he would not have made it into the main base. Well, this withstanding, the attack withstanding. But I am curious about that. I'm really curious about why he chooses to do that, because I can't think of a lot of other Protoss players I've seen recently, not top of my head at least, that do that. Regardless, that blitz did cost him one of his oracles, but he did kill 7 more drones. I don't know if that was really worth it, because TLO's killing it on 74 workers right now, so it doesn't really matter. He's lost 11. He has so many drones in play. He's also really boldly reaching for this base. Now, to be clear, this is technically Showtime's base. But the middle 2 bases have one really important element. It's 2 rich Vespene geysers. These give you so much gas, it's actually insane. Like, it's almost broken. I remember the first time Bly took this base in a game, he was like actually astonished. He couldn't believe how much it gave. Okay, there's that revelation. Good scouting. This little attack force of Lings will not be able to chew through this. There's the double hallucinate again. Huh. It's intentional for sure. TLO once again reaching for this base in the middle of the map. Now, here's the thing. If he knocks down these rocks, and with this base being his 3rd, he actually has a really clear-cut reinforcement point to this base. So even though I claimed that it was Showtime's base, let's be clear, TLO is making it his. This reinforcement point becomes really strong going forward because defensively speaking, it gives him the high ground while assaulting Showtime's side of the map. On top of this, it's just the rich Vespene gas I had talked about. Like, it's insane how big of a deal those gas geysers are. There's a funny gimmick here where you knock down these rocks and sight blockers pop up. So anything that stands in here can't be seen from out here without air support. It's not a big deal, but it's going to be interesting watching TLO make use of this, I guess. These oracles are such a nuisance. Yeah, grabbing some of the drones. Casting Revelation. TLO does have a fairly sizable roach army knocking down rocks on the other side of the field. And right now, this second, I don't think he's going to be able to take too much advantage of this. But what is good is removing these from play now means he doesn't have to waste time on it later. And these are now open for run-bys. He's open for business. Now, I don't know if you want to commit to this, but Showtime makes him because that's a lot of force fields to trap those roaches in. The weird thing, though, is there's not that much damage behind it, so this was actually really dangerous, and in fact, risked losing some of the Templar to this. Not something that would have been worthwhile at all. Sentries get picked off, too, so I don't know who really wins that battle. That was a strange decision out of Showtime, but TLO was able to make the most out of the roaches, which is good, too. All right, watch that. Oh, man. Watch TLO's gas. Like, actually watch his gas as he mines off of this. It is so stupid how big that gas income is. He's got 6 regular geysers and then the 2 rich geysers. TLO's going to reach 1,000 gas so quick. He actually probably won't even be able to spend it as fast as he gets it. It's actually nuts. But again, the whole thing is, like, as he takes this base now, he is effectively taking it away from Showtime, right? As Showtime would like to expand that direction later, he won't be able to if the game goes on long enough, and that's a big if the game goes on long enough. But right now, it's not going to end because Showtime's got those storms and the Immortals on that defense. He may stretch a little bit too far to the north, but he does deflect a large portion of Hydras down here to the left side, down to the south side. There's an attack on the other side of the field. Big warp in into the main base, but oh, I love this. Oh! I used to talk about this all the time, but the players stopped doing it. I am actually like straight up creekgasming over TLO SimCity in the main base. Normally, if you put down 3 or 4 spine crawlers, it's whatever. Zealots will surround them and kill them. By doing this with the buildings, the way he set it up now, there's such limited surface area that 3 spine crawlers are going to have their lives extended probably almost twice just because those zealots can't get on top of them as easily. So now the automatic defense is a lot more effective for TLO, just based on his building placement more than anything else. I like it. This actually used to be a really standard thing for people to do once upon a time. I'm actually thinking all the way back to the Zotac Cup days, but we don't see anyone do it anymore. Now look, this is 7 immortals that TLO's gonna have to break through. I don't know if he can break through this. But what he has done is eaten up most of the storms at this point. Shield batteries and cannons are pretty much gone. A brute force tactic starting to break the army of Showtime, but not gonna break him just yet. Showtime also just, he's lacking these warpins at home because he's used them all aggressively. There's not 17 zealots on the front line over here because the 17 zealots go on the front line over here. Trading out not for workers, but cutting off reinforcements, but more importantly, buying more time for Showtime to produce out of those robos. Right now, he needs more immortals than ever. Oh, but things are going to get worse before they get better. We got Vipers. I didn't even realize TLO had hit Hive Tech. And look at where that Hive is. Weirdly enough, this is really the center of all of his bases. This makes the most sense for this base to be the Hive. But I think... Oh, is that Warp Prism gets picked off? I think Showtime hasn't seen that. No, he knows it's a layer and that's it. So these Vipers are going to be a bit of surprise. The double gas, by the way, has been insane. The fact that TLO has been able to spend his money with these gas geysers is so beyond incredible to me. His macro game is so good. Everybody, anybody, pro player will be floating gas when you've got those rich geysers, but not TLO, because he is killing it. In fact, I kind of wish the income graph showed a differential of gas, like if you moused over it or something. Like, just how much gas has TLO been killing it with, right? But these abducts on the Immortals, you know what? They can fight when they're together, but not one at a time and not like this. The Storms do hit a large amount of the Roaches, but there's... Yeah, most of the Immortals have been killed at this point. Oh, those Storms are getting better, though! Better with age and better with time. This army from TLO now getting really softened up, but, no feedbacks on the Vipers, just storm damage, pure and simple. A lot of Immortals have started to go down. Almost none had died prior to this. Those abducts were like the biggest percentage of Immortals dead this game. That being said, though, man, those Storms soften up this army so badly that I don't know if TLO can take a proper direct fight. Goes for the surround. Storm slap in again. Feedbacks on top of the Viper. Sure, those abducts hit. Those abducts are really starting to hit their marks now. These Immortals that remain are almost dead, not quite living up to their name. The Archons also being picked off before they finish merging. And TLO crushes this fight. Yes, he lost the... Ooh, almost knocked the water off my desk. Yes, he lost the base. But he won that fight, and that was a pretty good fight to win. And of course, while this went on, before the fight even began, he started a base up here. So all those drones, they just transfer over. Well, not all of them. Many of them died, let's be real. But this has been a hell of a back and forth. A lot of these PvZs we've been casting, and a lot of the PvZs that, frankly, I've been watching, whether it's on Wardy's stream or WCS, like, they're all one-sided, I feel. Like, I'm not saying 4 Zerg or 4 Protoss, but it's usually really one-sided. Not the case here. And I told you guys, like, my brain default says Showtime, but exactly what TLO's doing, the way he's playing, is why I was so torn about this. Like, TLO is killing it. I've overused that phrase today. I don't even care. I'm past my limit. I'll pay the overage charges. My point is, TLO is killing it. Now, can my boy close out the game? That's the real question, right? Showtime gets some good storms, but he loses a lot of the Templar. In fact, almost all the Templar, I believe, have gone down. What few Archons there are getting destroyed by the +3 range weapon upgrades out of TLO's army, which is a lot of Hydralisks. Mostly those fast attacks getting the best benefits from this. There's some changelings in the back, but they're not really affecting much right now. They do get vision, which is nice, so TLO can see what's coming on the backside of this. An attack, a counterattack to be more precise, but not enough to stop TLO dead in his tracks. 66 army supply. You can see, look at the pacing of this game, by the way. Just, again, that summary of the last 10 minutes. TLO, man. Winning, 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 winning. Wait, what happened here? He just, like, disappeared from the graph for a second? Now, I guess one of the downsides is he did lose that rich Vespene geyser, and a lot of his geysers from, like, the main have started to expire. So he doesn't have as much gas to play as frivolously as he did before, but that being said, Showtime's also on a very limited economy, just simply because he doesn't really have proper 5th base set up. I mean, 4 bases is still good for Protoss, don't get me wrong. I'm never going to say it's not, but It's the reason he's struggling to get to 200 supply. Now, some of these Templars still have storms. TLO starting to cluster up a little bit here. Yeah, right side, nice storm out of Showtime. It's really tough to decide what you storm in these situations. If he just throws out storms willy-nilly, they might not actually be that effective. But he actually, with those storms, destroys the army. That's going to be it for TLO. Killing it, only to get killed. GG. Showtime takes game number 1. It was just in time for game 2. 1 point on the board, but it was not an easy point. He had to wrestle that thing from TLO's cold, dead hands. With 1 point on the board to the top left, we have Showtime. And to the bottom right, the Team Liquid player playing red, it's TLO. Now, there's a lot of recap to do just in terms of like the pacing of that game. But I think the one thing I just really want to deep dive into before we get too far into things, thank you, Bambi Nimble, is the way he chose to use his storms towards the end of that game. Because I was noticing a lot of opportunities where I honestly, I'm wrong in this. I'm gonna let's be clear about that before I state what I'm about to state. I was wrong in this. But I kept thinking, like, dude, these like hydras are so clustered. Why are you not storming them? And then he ends up using storms on roaches. But the thing was, like, I noticed this only towards the end of the game. He was taking a lot of this army, and I think first off, the very end fight, he's just storming whatever he can. But prior to that, I think he was very intentionally softening up units so the Immortals could one-shot them instead of two-shot them. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's what it looked planned to me. And I think Showtime did a lot of cool things that game. Now, maybe that's just coincidence, and I'm reading too much into it. This is like astrology, right? But the point is, Showtime did a lot of really cool things in that game, and I absolutely respect so much of it. But if we got to give cool points, it's the TLO. I love the idea of that base being taken. I love stealing the middle map. I love that if that game had gone on for like 25 plus minutes, he would have just basically won by taking the 4th base where he took it. Like, there were so many cool things that TLO did in that game, and I think that's a very much a contributing factor why it was so back and forth. But for the pacing of the overall tournament, man, we've had great games so far today. We have one last best of 3 still coming up after this. It's going to be Bly versus the loser of this series for that final spot in the group. If Showtime takes the 2-0 or maybe TLO ties up 1-1, I don't know. But regardless, whoever wins this series, this best of 3 between the two of them, will have nothing all week. I mean, a lot of people are playing in other tournaments. Wardy's got stuff going on. There's show matches that are unannounced that I can't tell you guys about. There's a lot of stuff going on this week. So players aren't going to be doing nothing. But for this tournament, they won't have to do anything till the round of 8, which will be really nice for them. And the round of 8 matches, by the way, are going to all be done in one day. So be 4 best of 5s in a row. Separate day for the playoffs. We're not going to try and overkill it. Just got a lot of good games coming up. I'm super stoked for it because, as I said, I've been trying very hard to get back to streaming Starcraft. It's just been constant thing after thing after. You know what's actually, I didn't tell this story, I don't think. 3 days ago, I almost lost my company. The Canadian government was in the process of dissolving Base Trade TV Incorporated. And I was really confused on this, right? Because, again, it's just like a slew of bad things happening this month. I was really confused on this. Like, why? What? Apparently, when I filed this, the lawyer who filed it never changed the default email address on the registered company name. So the last 2 years when I got those reminders that I needed to do my annual reports and pay the dues and all that, I never got those emails because they went to the default email. So my accountant's trying to do my taxes, and he's like, hey, I can't file your taxes because your company's being dissolved. And I'm like, what? Hello? What's going on? I'm freaking out, right? Luckily for me, it was as simple as paying the dues and getting the information updated. There was a lady I called for a number on the support line. She was super accommodating. It took me like less than 20 minutes to get it all solved. But it's just kind of like, I don't know. Let's recap, right? Okay, my move went wrong and the mover screwed me. I lost my wallet, thus my credit cards and my ID shortly after the move. I wasn't able to pay for anything, and I had no cash on me for the next week. That was tough. Tooth got yanked out of my head. Money I didn't have had to be used to spend it. Spent a week recovering. Lose my wallet, or not lose my wallet, lose my company almost. Like, it's just been a nightmare month. And I don't mean to make this a pity party while we got 2 fantastic players in front of us, but I'm just saying, god damn, am I glad to finally be in a spot where I'm sitting here comfortably casting StarCraft 2, not worrying about the 90 other things that are going wrong in my life. Like, this, I'm just so happy to be here today, guys. The lawyer that filed that sucks. Yes, and if I was still using that company, I'd fire him. But luckily, I'm not. So, smooth sailing going forward, guys. We have the Stargate again out of Showtime. If it's not broken, don't fix it. It worked well in Game 1, and he's happy to use it again here in Game 2. Schmoogan, thank you for the 19 months. Maybe next month will be better. Dude, next month will be better. It literally can't be worse. Oh, and I forgot. Of course, was it 3 days ago? I dropped my keys down the elevator. That was a whole fucking ordeal. Everyone thinks about, I swear, everyone who's been on an elevator thinks about it happening. I do, but no one thinks it's actually going to happen until you actually drop your keys or they fall through the floor in the elevator. It's, ah. Anyways, that's out of my system. Deep breaths. A couple of adepts get over here, start killing some drones. Super nasty and annoying because it's a distraction. Oh, he doesn't go for the minerals. He just goes for the queen kills on this one. He loses one of the oracles. I don't know if this is really worthwhile. 2 of the oracles going to go down for this. Showtime losing up big on this attack, and TLO happily giving away a couple queens to remove oracles. Because even though Showtime has a Stargate, he's not going to be rebuilding more oracles as the game goes on. Maybe if he loses the last one, but the point is, like, this is... removing those 2 oracles from play essentially removes them permanently, because there's not really a lot of freedom in your build nor your gas. You don't have the opportunity to rebuild those oracles. Every Protoss player would love to rebuild those oracles. Showtime will likely not rebuild those oracles. So that was a really expensive trade that just I don't think was worth it. I don't know what he was thinking for that. That's why you get an expensive lawyer instead of a well, it's the same thing with accounting, right? Like, I've got a good accountant now. Like, all of these things that go wrong, it's because back then I really couldn't afford a good lawyer. I couldn't afford a good accountant, and I couldn't afford all these things. Now that we've been making money the last couple of years with base trade TV, I've been able to upgrade the services because we can afford it now. And, you know, it's been nice, but yeah. I oftentimes think back, I remember there's like that thing about how if you're poor, you'll end up paying more in life because of like the services and the situation and all this, and that's... I've experienced that firsthand, how crazy different things get the more money you start making. But that's neither here nor there. Zermy, thank you for the 5 months. Here we go. TLO gearing up for an attack. He's got drop overlords being made, but I almost hope these are fake. Now it looks like he's actually going to drop, but I was thinking what would be really cool, it'd be just such a TLO like level genius thing to do, would be to send a bunch of fake overlords into the main base, make it look like a drop, and then walk over here, you know? But the drop will work out in this case because that army out of Showtime is vastly out of position. And while this might not be a Nidus Worm, the same effect is going to happen where even if Showtime recalls immediately, this is going to get a lot of damage done. Oh, maybe not. Showtime, quick reaction. He saw this coming. Probes start pulling away immediately. TLO going to turn around and focus on the Nexus. I mean, killing the Nexus wouldn't be too bad because these overlords are the escape path out. Nice. Very nice pickup there for TLO. And of course, the reason the army can't be recalled is there is an attack going on the right side too. Well, also the Nexus is gone, so there's no recall. But the point is, TLO, oh, he unpowers the gateways. That's going to stall out +1 weapons. Takes out some of the reinforcement warp-ins. He's going to lose a lot of what he has on the ground here, and that kind of sucks. But all in all, grabbing that Nexus kill was very good for TLO. Oh, and he actually unpowers 100% of the buildings in the main base. So production here put to a steep standstill, a big supply block paired with it. TLO got a lot out of this attack. And I think he's faking this Overlord being idle, by the way. I mean, we all know that there's 4 Hydralisks inside of it, but by making it look like it's just drop and creep, Showtime has no way of knowing whether there's units actually inside, and if he gets complacent and that Overlord's left alone, then TLO will very happily unload 4 Hydralisks and melt probes. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen here as Showtime starts responding to this attack on the right side of the field. TLO coming out with +1 weapons and a lot of army supply. All hands need to be on deck, and Showtime is too scared. He's not going to bring these units away. I don't blame him. Force fields are good. Stalls out the attack. Sounds like donos are at 1%. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. But thank you whoever donated. We'll get to that afterwards. Really focused on the game right now. This Void Ray's even coming out too. This will remove the Overlord actually. This is what he was waiting on. This is good. This is good. Overlord will melt that, and if that, or the Void Ray will melt that Overlord, and if it dies with its cargo, that's a very expensive loss of 4 Hydralisks. It's not going to unload that either. Ooh, I don't think you can outrun it. No, he's going to realize that too, so unloads the Hydras. At least they don't die for nothing, but that was a nice move out of Showtime. You don't see Void Rays a lot unless Corruptors are really a big problem, but even then, sometimes it's just Carriers and Tempests and the Mothership. Yeah, the Void Ray, when not prismatically aligned, is pretty quick, so chases down the Overlords. Nice double Stargate play, or excuse me, double Stargate, double hallucination play. This will confirm his scouting all the way to the hive, something that Showtime did not know about, but is now fully aware of. Stavka is impersonating one of those scam callers in my chat. That's great, dude. Snargle, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Now, there's a lot of storms cooked up on that front line for Showtime. He's sitting back at home with like 70 probes, so his income's going to be pretty solid throughout this. Both players have a lot of workers, actually. TLO on 80 as well, but Broodlords are on deck, and 8 Broodlords is terrifying. There's no Tempest over here. There's no stock. He can't even blink underneath this. I mean, the Archons can buy some time, but these Templar, they've got a storm. Use it before you lose it, brother, because he is going to lose all of those Templar. And TLO's defense is looking solid. 5 drones die, and that's about it. Stalkers arrive in the front line now, but they don't have blink. Roaches and Hydras can probably chase these down if they'd really like to, but those Broodlords need to get going. Timing is on TLO's side right now. Army supply too. Big advantages through these fights, and Showtime, if he had known he was walking face first into that, he would not have made that commitment, but that's the blind side. Sandra Bullock, something, something. Did you get your keys back from the elevator somehow? Yes, I locked out. I put a tweet out about it. TLDR, 8 hours later, I got my keys back. But if I had lost them on any other day, I would have had to wait 2 weeks, which would have been fucking... I don't know what I would have done. But Broodlord's launching on top of the army. Void Ray comes in. It's 1 Void Ray, so it's easily removed by the Hydras. That Broodlord got to about half health. That's not that big of a deal. And that was through prismatic alignment. I think the assault here is too much. I don't know. No, not even I don't know. I don't think there's a way that he could possibly deal with the Broodlords. Even if Blink finishes up right now, blinking under the Broodlords is not really a solution. GG. We're going to another Game 3! I'm so sick of these Game 3s! No, I'm not. Who am I kidding? This is amazing! Right, I was going to talk about the upcoming games for the rest of the week. So before we get into the introductions for this, for anyone who catches this, whether it's live or through VOD, the next day will be live casting. It will be in 2 days from now, September 25th. That's the group of Raynor, Damaga, Hearthstone, and Kelazur. On the 23rd, we have Showtime, Braddock. Oh, wait, that's today. Excuse me. On the 27th, we have Cham, 3DB, Puck, and Mana. And on the 28th, we have Euthermal, Kos, Denver, and Geralt. These are all looking pretty good. My fear is that we have had a couple players that we may need to replace, but we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm hoping we don't have to replace anybody, and hopefully everybody can play. But obviously, with Wardy running some events, there appears to be some crossover that we tried to avoid that maybe won't be so avoidable. I don't know. We'll see. But either way, there's the dates, guys. 25, 27, 28 for the remaining groups. And then I think it's the 29th and the 1st of next month will be the playoffs and the round of 8. But be sure to check out the sponsors. DFY Esports. I guess, I don't know if you call it a subsidiary, but a project from DFY Links. Done for you. That's what the DFY stands for. They're doing a giveaway. You can type my exclamation mark giveaway in the chat. But, of course, the best thing you guys could really do is help us get more eyes on this tournament. So as more games come up, make sure you don't miss the shows. Make sure to tell your friends, retweet, like, whatever. Follow the Twitch channel. It's probably the best thing you can do, though. Just to get that notification of, hey, we're live! But about a minute and a half too late, let's get these intros done. To the bottom right, here in Game 3, we do have the Blue Zerg TLO. And to the top left, it is the Red Protoss Showtime. Hype, 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 hype. No, I really don't know who takes this. Closing it out, Game 1 was very Showtime favored towards the end, but it was a nice back and forth leading up to it. Game 2, I would say that was a pretty clear TLO win. I don't think you can make a lot of arguments against it. He did a lot of really cool tactics. I love the Overlord drop. I love the game of Chicken. He played with that last Overlord. There was fun elements, but there was good elements to it. I'm really torn. It's not about who I want to win. It's about who will win. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call... You know, here's what you do. If you're the ultimate TLO fan, you know TLO already beat Bly once today, so you bet on TLO to win this, so he doesn't have to fight Bly again, so the reverse group curse doesn't hit him, and he ends up losing last in the group. or you hope Showtime wins and you know that TLO can beat Bly twice. Either way, I mean, favoritism is everything when you're talking about your favorite players and who you want to see go on to the round of 8. The thing is, I love Bly. I actually really would love for Bly to get out of this group. It just breaks my heart that for Bly to get out of this group, either Showtime or TLO have to lose. And Carl, thank you for the tier 1 sub, dude. Welcome to the channel. I mentioned this during the break in the chat, but I'll bring it up again because some people don't know. We do offer ad-free viewing, but you do have to refresh the page for Twitch to recognize that you're a sub because it doesn't automate it for some reason. So, quick reminder that if you've subbed or been gifted a sub, refresh so that you don't get those annoying pre-roll ads. You can just join Base Trade TV and enjoy the bad music and the bad games. Or no, rather good games, bad commentary. There you go. Easy peasy. Now this Warp Prism is no shy, just completely giving itself away to the Overlord. Not a problem. Very confident that whatever this push out is, we'll be fine without it. I don't know how committed this is though, because there's not that many gateways. And while Warp Gate's finishing here soon, this really feels like this is going to be for maneuvering more than like warping in a huge all-in. You know, pick up the Adepts, give them that kind of ghetto blink, if you will. And Adepts can do a lot of damage if not dealt with, so it's one of those things that you can't really ignore. Okay, when he transfers ahead, he sees no workers, so he's not going to commit to attacking the third base. Lings will catch him out in the middle of the map, but that's okay. He just picks up in the Warp Prism, so this is what I'm talking about with maneuverability. Cool moves out of Showtime. I actually like this a lot. I mean, that Warp Prism, if kept alive, is going to be useful for the rest of the game, so it's a perfectly fine investment. It is odd, though, to see it this quickly and without your typical moves attached to it, right? It's not taking his gases yet, and more gateways are coming down slowly. We might actually start seeing this for warp-ins. I mean, how many gateways is this? That's 5? I mean, I see someone in the chat trying to argue that this is super all-in. I see this as committed, less all-in. I could be wrong on this. I'm not a pro Protoss player, but we'll see how the attack goes. I really think the results will determine how this goes for Showtime. If he goes super well, then it's all-in. But if it trades out, he could still make a third. He's got the money for it back at home, but no question about the initial fight here. This is Team Showtime taking a big victory. And with his base now being exposed, I mean, Spore Crawler's getting picked off. This gives the opportunity for the Warp Prism to start coming back in. Warps in some Stalkers from the far side. There's not enough roaches to fight this. And that third base, I mean, he's intentionally not killing it. He can knock this third base down at any moment that he pleases. Warp Prism flies right past the army. No maneuvering necessary. GG's. Showtime takes the game, takes the series, and will escape straight into the round of 8.